Hello and welcome to the Corona Yoga Challenge. Today is day 191 and I'm kind of horrified to point out, but 12,000 new cases in one day. That is the highest number ever. I think 7,000 at the peak during the Corona Challenge. If I look back on it, 7,000 was the most. That's 12,000 in one day. So, but hey, we're going to deal with it. Back to yoga, or to bring some yoga into this current experience of uncertainty and change, and so today we are doing a little bit of philosophy, and our philosophy today is prana and apana. So prana is often considered like the vital life force that we have in our body. So that a leaf would have prana, our bodies have prana, the sun has prana, that it is just, if you like, matter or energy that is manifest within matter. So obviously in our own bodies there are things that we can do to increase our prana or energy, and things that we can do to decrease it. And I'm a big one for the not being particularly hard and fast rules. So in some part of your life, or at some moments in your life, having an alcoholic drink might increase your prana because it might balance things out for you, and the majority of times it probably decreases it. But obviously there's that personal kind of reflection and experience of what is needed within your body and what is beneficial and what's helpful. So that is, if you like, one level of it. Another, the way that I tend to work with the concept of prana is the breath. So that when we breathe, we're alive, or when we are breathed. So even if you're on a life support machine, we are technically alive if we are still breathing. And that breath is our connection to being alive, our most profound connection to aliveness. And when we breathe more fully, we increase our energy and we increase our experience of aliveness. So a nice way to work with this, so I quite like working with prana and apana together. So prana is the breath, the vital force, the movement up, and apana is the movement down and the movement out. So that we have a nice balance of the two. So that we breathe in, we get energy, we increase, we eliminate, we get less. We go up to the light, we go down to the earth. So that there's a balance between these two almost opposites. And in breathing practice, I find that a very pleasant concept and very helpful. So one of the ways to do that is when you are breathing, to imagine that as you breathe in from the ground beneath you. You breathe up into the lower spine, up through the spine, up, all the way to the crown of the head, and my hands above my crown of my head, so up. And as we breathe out, we breathe out, and then down to the ground. So first of all, you can work, if you like, in a kind of energetic way, up through the body, the physical body, the energetic body, the this and the what is just around it. So through the centre of the body and up above. And then the other thing that we can do is we can work through the spine, using that same concept, so that you can visualize your spine almost like the keys of a piano, and as you breathe in, you're trickling up through the spine, all the way up through each vertebrae, up to the head, out and beyond, and then breath out down through each little vertebrae, all the way down and out to the sacrum beneath and down, so that we can work with the breath. Now, if you've not done that before, that description might be a bit much. So it's really important to adapt it to where you'd like it to be and where it feels good for you today. So it might be that it's just, that's a really quick version. So it's probably a bit more like, So there's that lift. And with the now breath, there's that sink and that heaviness. So that we're moving between them with the breath. And it could be that slightly like cat movement that we do with the spine in different poses, that we kind of work through that. It could be it's such a subtle version that in-breath, that the only physical movement within your body is just the head, the little tiny lift of the chin as you inhale, tiniest little drop of the chin, so that the movement is more, this is my head, my hand here. So that, and you can get subtler and subtler and subtler. So this can become such a quiet practice where we just look at the way that the head settles with the neck and the subtle movements of the breath that come just naturally through the body, that are tiny little movements. We can work with the whole spine, we can work with the whole body. We can work through poses that way. So obviously we can work with that nice feeling of inhaling, making space, exhaling, sink down, exhale, sink to the ground, get rid of the air that's not needed. Inhale, we can come up and out, and then exhale, sink down, become heavier, so that we can move back and forth through that physical process of the breath. And you can do that in any pose. You can do it in triangle pose, so that we're aware of the lightness, the lift up, and then the down through the feet. So it can be a kind of less breath related and more movement through the body. Inhale, exhale, prana, apana. And we can kind of work between the two there. And the other way we can do it is we can look at the main movement in your body at a particular time. So, for instance, the concept of giving birth is a very out, down, eliminate kind of movement through the body, and it's a downward gravitational direction, out and down for the baby. There are many other aspects of life which are like that, which are the down and out movements, and other aspects of life which are more the kind of up and grow through. And using those concepts, it can be quite helpful to come into a moment of life and notice where you are with that. And there might be times when there's a complete balance between you go, oh yeah, I've got a movement up and I've got a movement down. But there might be other times when you go, oh no, I've got a real downward feeling. It could be, just trying to think of a good example. So when I saw my son today, and that was really lovely, and of course socially distanced, but it was that upward, lovely energy, and then that sink of quiet and steady, this moment, of just spending time together, so that there can be these like little movements through life of our bodies, of our energy, and that can be a nice way of looking at and understanding what's happening within the body, within our energy and beyond. The simplest way, since this is really about your home practice, is to think when you come onto your mat, what is your initial feeling? So oftentimes I will come onto my mat with a feeling of heavy. And it's a case of waiting in that heaviness until the light, the opening up and out comes. Although I say that, it varies very much at time of day. So in the morning, usually I'm ready, active and going by the time I've made it to my mat, because I've done my meditation first, which is, if you like, my apana, quiet. And so I'm now, ready for physical movement, ready to move out. But oftentimes, by the time I get to 5 o'clock, if I'm doing my practice, then that's my quiet out and down, and then gradually into the movement, gradually out. Because in our daily lives, we need those moments of real quiet, and daily life can get quite busy, so that the desire to go out and into daily life can be quite strong. and that sometimes the moments to come back and into that quiet are slightly more elusive for me. Maybe not for you, but for me they can be. So that's perhaps why when I meet my yoga mat, often when it's not in the morning, I will be into that come back quiet and before I move out. For you, it could be the absolute opposite. It could be that life has a different energy most of the time for you, so that when you come to your yoga mat, it's like, oh, thank goodness. And it might just be a different experience often. And it might be that you have phases of your life when it's like, and other phases where it's completely different. It's like, oh, yeah, great. I'm ready to go, ready to move. And that's so, so important to try and find that truth within your body, so that you really are coming back into the where am I? The where am I in a kind of real truth within the body, so that we can really move from that place, so that when we do our yoga practice, it cannot fail to be healing and beneficial and lead us towards that wholeness. So that because we come from a place of knowing where we are, I think the biggest mistake that we can make, and I can make, so we, the royal we, is that just blasting through. But who knows, that undoubtedly will change again. And particularly with this current little changes in how society is looking. So I'm going to leave you with your upward light and your steady down, so that we're connected to the above, connected to the below, to our movement up, to our movement down. And I hope you have a lot of fun finding where you are in each moment with that.